Good afternoon, dear students of grade 9. Welcome to this session of your new curriculum MR textbooks. Allow me at the beginning to introduce my colleagues in the studio. Ms. Maha Al-Jarkas.
Welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
English Language Teacher, Damascus Directorate. And Ms. Ula Al-Mu'i. Good afternoon, Ms. Ula.
Good afternoon, sir.
English Language Supervisor, Tartus Directorate. And this is me, Abdul Majid Oghurli, Senior Supervisor and Coordinator of English Curriculum. We're going to give you a hint before we start how to study grade 9. We have now a new exam paper to be followed. My advice to you is to learn words, the meaning of words by heart very well, because you will need the vocabulary and the grammar from grade 7 to grade 9, because you are going to meet all these grammar exercises in the exam paper. And practice, train about writing sentences from now till the exam time, and then you can write paragraphs. We're going to start the unit with a listening exercise. We are going to listen to a voice, an audio. First, after you listen the first time, you're going to identify who is speaking and about what. Let's listen the first time.
Children, we are 12 people.
I think you...
Trips. My name is Tom. I volunteer with a group of girls and boys to help disabled children. We are 12 people, 7 girls and 5 boys. We raise money to buy tools and equipment for the children to make their lives easier. We also take the children on trips to nice places, such as zoos, amusement parks, and to the circus. We feel happy when we see the children smile.
Okay, we listened for the first time, and this is your job at schools. We need to listen twice. The first listening for general information. Miss Maha,
Yes.
who was the speaker?
Of course, it was Tom.
Tom.
And he was speaking about voluntary work.
A volunteer work, yes. He was speaking about volunteer work.
Doing
Yes.
voluntary work with some friends.
With some friends, yes, in groups.
Yes. Now we are going to listen a second time, and then we are going to answer some questions for specific information. Let's listen a second time.
Hello, my name is Tom. I volunteer with a group of girls and boys to help disabled children. We are 12 people, 7 girls and 5 boys. We raise money to buy tools and equipment for the children to make their lives easier. We also take the children on trips to nice places, such as zoos, amusement parks, and to the circus. We feel happy when we see them.
Okay. We listened again. Now we are going to answer some questions by just ticking true or false.
False.
Miss Ula, will
Yes.
you please read number 1?
Yes. Listen again and write true or false. Number 1. Tom works with a group of volunteers. This is correct.
Correct.
It's true.
True. So the first one is true. Miss Maha, please read number 2.
Yes, number 2. There are 8 girls in the group. It's, of course, false because there are 7 girls.
7 girls. Number 3, Miss Ula.
Number 3. They raise money to take the children on trips. No, they raise money to buy tools and equipment to make their life easier. And they take them on trips, but they don't raise money for that.
Yes. Miss Maha, number 4.
They take the children to nice places. It's false. They take them to the zoos.
And amusement parks.
And yes, of
Yeah,
course,
it
and
is-
amusement
it is
parks.
true.
It is
true.
nice to go
Yes.
to the
So,
It is nice,
yeah,
yeah.
sorry, I'm sorry.
It's true.
It's nice.
They take the
Yes.
children to nice places. It's true.
Yes.
Number 5.
Number 5, they feel excited when the children are happy. Of course they do.
Yeah, they said
Yes.
we feel
Yes.
happy when we see
Satisfied,
the
they feel
children
satisfied.
smile. So usually questions about listening are either multiple choice questions or
True or
True, false
true
question.
or false. Usually we don't have writing when we are listening.
Open-ended.
yes.
We come to the reading part. In the reading part, we have a text about light initiative
From the student's book.
from the student's book. I'm going to read the text, and after that we are going to answer questions.
Yes.
Of course, we do not have reading aloud, but we can listen. Sometimes we ask the students to read with listening so that it improves their pronunciation. I'm going to read it for the first time, then we answer the questions. Light initiative. What is light initiative? Light initiative started with 2 people, and now it includes more than 350 volunteers. They voluntarily record school and college books for the benefit of the visually impaired people. They started recording the books of the 9th and the 12th grades. They also record university books and references. Their aim is to meet the visually impaired people's actual needs, whatever they are. How do they work? Usually, the visually impaired person who has the desire to study a curriculum or a reference contacts the initiative administration and provides them with the books needed. Then, the book is divided into tasks for a member of volunteers to record them. Social media. They use a Facebook page and a YouTube channel. On the Facebook page, they announce that they finished this book or this curriculum, and they use the YouTube channel to publish recordings. These records are saved in MP3 format. Service cost. Their services are absolutely free, i.e., the volunteer is not paid, and it doesn't cost the visually impaired person anything. Anyone with a network can have access to their records. Tools. Volunteers need very simple things. They use mobiles for recording and laptops to do the montage. No professional tools are needed. What's new? Light Initiative's new project is turning the Syrian curriculum into Braille. This will help Syrian students who suffer from sight problems. Light Initiative's target. Light Initiative is trying to bring some light into the visually impaired people's lives. This is the text.
Yes.
And here are the questions.
Keywords first.
Keywords, before we go on, we are going to continue with Miss Ola to talk about the first 2 words. Then we
Okay.
move to Miss Maha.
Yes.
Yes, the first one is initiative. Initiative is kind of a new plan for dealing with particular problem. So when we have a problem to deal with it, we can set up an
A new
initiative.
plan for dealing with a particular problem. Number 2,
Visually impaired, it means people with sight problems.
yes, because visually means vision,
Yes.
from seeing. So visually impaired people who have problems with seeing. Miss Maha,
Yes.
please, the following
Reference
2.
is the source of information, like books or articles, that you can get extra information from. Provide to give somebody something or to supply, and curriculum is the subjects or the subjects are that are taught by a school or a college, etc. syllabus.
Yes, so the curriculum is the subjects that are taught by a school or a college. We move now to
We're still with the keywords.
following keywords
Announce.
with Miss Ola.
Announce, to tell people something officially, absolutely, completely true. And we have Braille. Braille is a system of printing for blind people in which the letters and the numbers are printed as raised dots.
Yes, so the blind people use their fingers to read,
To touch
not
the letters.
their eyes. Well, we come to the questions
Yes.
about the Light Initiative. We start with Miss Maha. Will
Yes.
you please read question number 1?
Okay, the book, the question is in the form of comprehension questions, but here we changed it because we don't have comprehension questions anymore in the test, sorry. So choose the correct answer. The Light Initiative is targeted to people, weak people, short people, normal people, or tall people. It's for weak.
Yeah, just
people.
to notify dear
Yes.
students that the exam paper is going to be like this. You're not going to write.
Multiple choice.
You're going to have either true-false questions or multiple choice questions, and you are going to choose from the 4 choices.
Yes. Number 2, the recorded books are published on Facebook, WhatsApp, YouTube, or the board. They are, of course, published on YouTube. Number 3, volunteers use for recording cassettes, mobiles, music, CD players. They use their mobiles.
Yes, they use their mobiles. Miss Ola, will
Yes.
you please
Number
continue?
4, they use to do the montage. They use their mobiles and laptops, of course.
They
Yes.
use laptops.
Laptops.
They
for
use
montage.
mobiles
To record.
to record
And laptops to
and
do the montage.
laptops to
Yes.
do the
The
montage.
recorded books cost money. They are free, so they cost no money.
No money. Choice letter B.
Light Initiative started with people. There were only 2 people, so there were very few people.
Very few, not many, and not a lot of, and not no.
Yes.
Very
They-
few
They voluntarily record schools and college books,
books, not stories.
references, books
Yeah.
and references, yes.
Well, now write true or false. The other way of the exam question, you may meet it in true or false. Miss Maha,
Yes. Number 1, visually impaired people are strong people. It's false. They are weak people. Number 2, the task is done by volunteers. It's true. 3, these records are saved in MP4 format. They are saved in MP3 format, so it's false. Number 4,
only voice, only
yes.
audio, not
Not
visual.
Yes. The impaired person pays a lot of money. No, it's false. They don't pay money.
It's
The work
free.
is totally free. Yes. Number 5, volunteers need very simple things. True.
True.
And they announce that they finished on YouTube. False. They announce on Facebook.
But they can find them on YouTube.
Yes.
We come to the following exercise, which is
This
match.
is from the book.
Yes. from
They
the
have
book.
to match to form sentences, again, to relate it to the text. Number 1, volunteers record the book after it's divided into several tasks.
So, it goes,
the
one
divider,
goes with C.
yes.
Number
Number 2,
one goes with letter
MP3
C.
is the format of the recordings.
Mhm.
You can listen to the recordings if you have a network. All you need is to access the internet. Nowadays, volunteers are turning the curriculum into Braille. And we've
Yes.
said what Braille means.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we explained. We come to the grammar section. It is revision of the present perfect. Questions are: A. Select the correct answer to complete each sentence using the present perfect tense. We are going to show the tense through sentences, and after that we are going to talk about the grammar.
So the form and the use of
Yes.
the tense.
Number 1, Miss Maha.
Yes, she's very experienced now. She has or hasn't been a volunteer for 2 years. Of course, she has.
From the meaning,
Yes.
because she has experience.
Yes. Good news, they have raised or haven't raised enough money for the charity this year. They have raised because it's
Good news.
a really good news.
Good news, yes. We go to Miss Ula.
Number 3, while I've been a volunteer, we have helped a lot of young people to graduate from high school because it's voluntary work, so
Yeah.
we must have done something good. He's hungry, he hasn't eaten. Eating because past participle, we cannot use the
So
first
we
one.
know that it is
Past participle from hasn't.
hasn't, it should be past participle, and we notify the students that this is the form of the present perfect.
Yeah.
hasn't or has, haven't or have with verb 3.
Past participle, yes. She misses him. She hasn't, because he, she, it, we use has, not have.
Yes.
So she hasn't seen him for a long time.
Yeah, we noticed from the sentence that it is she hasn't. Hasn't goes with he, she, it. Now, again, another exercise. Match column A with B. Make full sentences in the present perfect tense. Miss Maha?
Number 1, have you done your homework? It's with D. Yes, I have. Number 2, she has just arrived. She will speak to you in a minute. A. Number 3, we have known her. E. Since she arrived to our city. Number 4, he has worked here. B. For 2 months. And 5, I haven't been. C. To Paris before.
Yeah. Here, the use of be and gone, we are going to explain about it when we go to the grammar. We move to the following slide, the grammar, present
form.
perfect tense.
Yes.
Miss Ola,
The form
please.
of the present perfect tense is with the affirmative. We use the subject with have or has and the past participle of the verb, then the complement of the sentence.
Mhm.
For example, I have just eaten lunch. She has almost finished cleaning the house. This is the form in the affirmative. With the question form, now we start with have or has because we need to invert. Then we have the subject, past participle, and to complete the sentence. Have you eaten lunch? Has he written a letter? In the negative form, now because we have or has, we just add not. Subject with have or has plus not plus past participle, and then we complete the sentence. I haven't done my homework. She has never played tennis. Of course, haven't, we can, it's abbreviation of have not, and hasn't abbreviation of has not.
Yes, we come to the use with
Yes.
Miss Maha, please.
The first use is when an action happened in the past and the exact time is not mentioned, and we talk about it now, or we see the result now.
So there should be a result in
Yes.
the present, but the time is not known.
definite,
This is the
yes.
difference between the simple past
And the
and the
present
present
perfect.
perfect.
Yes. Example, somebody has painted the door.
So the result is the door now is
It's
painted.
painted, yes. And we don't know the exact time for painting the door. In this case, we use already, almost, just, and yet.
These are keywords
Yes.
to denote the present perfect.
Yes. Example, I have just eaten lunch. She has almost finished cleaning the house. My father hasn't come yet. Has your father come yet? And here we have to notice the difference between using has and hasn't in questions. If we ask, has your father come? This is a normal question. And if we ask, hasn't your father come yet? It expresses surprise.
Surprise.
Yes. Usually negative questions express surprise. I have already written an email is an example about using already.
Yes.
Yes. The second use.
Miss Ola, will you please continue about the second use?
The second one, when the action started in the past and has continued without stop until the present and may continue in the future.
Yes.
In this case, we use since and for, or for, of course. Since, when we have a point in time, a fixed time in the past, and for with a period of time or a duration of time.
So when we have for and since, it means something
Started
in the past, continued without stop till the present,
and may continue
and
to
may
the future.
continue in the future.
I have
So this is the meaning of since.
Yes.
And
I
for.
have played the piano since I was 10. So I started playing the piano when I was 10 and continue playing the piano
Until now. Maybe
till
now
now.
I'm 20.
Yes. She has driven her car for 3 years. Now, when something has never happened before, we use never. She has never seen snow. When we talk about one action that happened many times until the present, again we use present perfect, like so far, until now, up to now, like this example. We have had 4 tests so far. So it is repeated many times.
Yes. When the same action repeats many times, we use the present perfect tense.
With words like
Here we have comparing between go and be. Miss Maha, will you please talk
Yes.
about
If we
it?
say he has been shopping, it means that he went and returned back. While
Yes, went and returned.
yes. If we say he has gone shopping, he has gone shopping and he is still there.
Yes. We move to the vocabulary of the following text.
Yes, this is from the student's book again.
Yes.
The first one, this party was done the poor. It was done for the benefit of the poor. This is
From
an
the text.
expression, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, from the text.
Expression from the text. A lift was put to meet the disabled needs. So meet the needs, meet the needs. And some people in Africa do not, to save drinking water, do not have access, cannot get
Yes.
safe water.
Now we can see the answers on the screen. We move to the text in the activity book. Who would like to read? Yes, Ms.
Yes.
Maha, please.
Pay it forward. On March 27, 2013, John Sweeney, a plumber from Ireland, started a Facebook page called Suspended Coffees. His message was simple: buy a cup of coffee for a stranger, because an act of kindness can change a life and make a difference. 8 hours later, the page had attracted more than 20,000 likes. Suspended coffee is a tradition that comes from Naples, Italy, and dates to the 20th century. When customers buy coffee, they also pay in advance for a cup to be given to somebody else, usually someone who otherwise couldn't afford it. This initiative was forgotten, but then it revived again in 2011. That's when Suspended Coffee Day started to be celebrated each December. You can buy it for anyone in need. It can be for the homeless person you pass by every day on the street, a stressed student in the middle of exams, a mother of children who can't afford coffee. It may be a well-dressed man whom you may not think from his appearance that he is in need, but he may be in his 3rd month of job hunting. It's not up to us to judge. If someone asks, then they are in need. No CV required.
Yes. Key words about the text. Miss Ola,
The first
pay
one,
forward. What
pay
do we
forward,
mean
it
by
means
pay
to
forward?
pay in advance.
Pay in advance.
Plumber is a person whose job is to repair water, pipes, toilets, etc.
We notice that B is mute. We don't
Yes.
pronounce the B. Plumber.
Plumber, yes,
Yes.
plumber.
Person whose job is to repair water pipes,
Okay.
toilets, etc.
Suspended, it means stopped for a while. Afford, to have enough money to something, you can buy something,
To be able to
be able to buy
yes.
something. Revive, it means to become strong again.
Mhm.
And job hunting is the act of looking for a work, for a job
Yes.
or for a work.
We continue. We have when customers, I think.
Now
we
the
have
questions
No, no,
from
I-
the
I
book.
Just
stopped.
like
About
before.
answers,
Yes.
questions. Answer the following questions.
Yes, the first question is explain the idea of suspended coffee. It's when customers buy coffee.
Explain the idea of suspended coffee.
Yes, students can take the answer from the book, from the text.
Yes, it is from the book.
Yes. When customers buy coffee, they also pay in advance for a cup to be given to somebody else, usually someone who otherwise couldn't afford it.
Just one notification
Yes.
to the students. In the exam, you're not going to have questions like this. This is
Yes.
only at school. It's going to be multiple choice or true or false. So don't worry. Exam is going to be easier than you expect. Continue.
Yes. Question 2, where did this idea start? It started in Naples in Italy.
So the idea started in Naples,
In
Italy.
Italy, yes. Number 3, when did it revive again? It was in 2011.
Mhm.
Question 4, it's not from the book. So do you know a cafe in Syria which offers such services?
So this is for speaking.
Yes.
Usually, the action-oriented approach, which our books are based on, we need to have a task about anything we have in the exercises. So the task here is writing.
Yes.
It can be speaking and also it can be writing. Students' own answers. Here answers vary. Do you know a cafe in Syria? Of course. Maybe all.
They can just name
if
a
not
cafe.
all, yes. Most of the students know a cafe
And they can
in
start the
Syria
initiative if
which
it's not there.
offers such services. Do we have in Syria such cafes? Maybe yes, maybe no. For me, individually, I don't know.
We don't
Maybe
We may
somebody
start
else.
the initiative.
Yeah, we may start an initiative.
Yes.
Yes. Now, the answers which Ms. Meha said, Ms. Ula is going to repeat the answers.
Yes.
When customers
When
buy
customers
coffee,
buy coffee, they also pay in advance for a cup to be given to somebody who cannot afford it.
yes.
Number
So,
two,
for example, let me explain this
Yes,
to the
please.
students. I go to a cafe. If the price of a cup of coffee is 2,000 Syrian pounds, I pay 4,000.
one
So
for you.
2 for me and 1 for someone in the future. If someone doesn't have money, can enter the cafe and ask, do we have any offers? If yes, he can drink for free because
And no
somebody
CV
else.
needed. They
Yes.
can afford it to anyone.
That's it.
Number two, it started in Naples, Italy.
When did it start?
Where did it start?
did it start?
And number three, about when did it revive again? It revived again in 2011.
Yes, and we said answers will vary. Have you ever known or do you know any cafe? Now we have true or false questions about the initiative. Miss Maha?
Yes. Number one, many people like John's initiative. Of course, it's true because it got 20,000 likes in 8 hours. Number two, Suspended Coffee Day is celebrated in January. False. It's celebrated in December. And number three, the person who needs suspended coffee must prove that he is poor. False. It doesn't need a CV.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. We move to the following slide. Adjectives ending in ed and in ing. Of course, it would be better if we showed the students a text. Maybe we met this in the previous text, but now we're going to explain the difference between the adjectives ending in ed and the adjectives ending in ing. Miss Ula,
Okay.
floor is yours.
Before we start, we have to attract their attention to the use of passive voice.
Yes.
So with the passive voice, we have the past participle, and this is different. Now these, with the adjectives, we can use ed and ing to talk about adjectives. First of all, to start with adjectives ending with ed, we use them to describe a feeling or an emotion, like it's how we feel about something.
So you mean if I say I was surprised,
It
this
means
is feeling,
feeling.
but it was established. This doesn't have anything to do with feeling, it is passive voice.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. With ing, we use it to describe the characteristic of a person, a thing, or a situation. Like it means it causes a feeling. For example, if I say I'm tired, it means this is a feeling. I feel tired. But if I say about something that this activity is tiring, it causes me to feel tired. So this something felt, and other one is to cause the feeling.
Yes, so let me say,
Please.
if the thing or the person is affecting others, we use ing.
Yes.
If the person is affected, because things are never affected, we use ed. Interested. So we don't say an interested book,
Exactly.
because
So
the book cannot have a feeling.
Yes.
It makes the others feel. So you see the book is interesting, but a man can be interesting and can be interested. So we use the ing with both
Yes.
people and things, and we use the ed only with
people,
People.
because they
People.
have feelings.
With
this is when we talk about feeling. But when we talk about passive voice, it's very similar, but it doesn't have anything to do with feeling. This is to the students and to the teachers to differentiate between this. They may meet something so that they can differentiate between them. We are saying this. Continue, Ms.
Yes,
Ola.
we have an example here with the word bored. I was really bored in that presentation. I'm bored. This is a feeling, my feeling right now. This feeling was caused by the presentation. Sorry, he is not going to be bored for eternity. It's temporary. So it's a feeling and it's temporary. When
So
I
you
say
are bored. The presentation is boring.
exactly,
Yes.
now this is the next one. That was a really boring presentation. So in this case, the presentation is boring. We are describing a characteristic of this presentation, it makes me feel bored.
Yes. We move to the following slide.
Here we have an example from the book.
Yes.
Yes.
Miss Maha.
Number 1, bus service is suspended during storms.
This is not feeling.
This is not a
course.
feeling.
This is passive
Yes.
voice.
Yes, and the verb is in the past participle. Number 2, preparing for your exam is stressing. Preparing for the exam causes you to feel stressed. So
It is a thing.
preparing, yes.
A thing, not
Preparing
a
is
person.
stressing, yes.
So it cannot be stressed.
Yes.
It should be
Stressing.
stressing.
Number 3, money is not required for happiness. Here, it's not
Passive
an
voice.
emotion, it's not a
Again,
feeling.
passive
Yes,
voice.
so it's passive voice and past participle of the verb.
Thank you for making it clear. Here are the answers. We are going to have a look again about the grammar of the present perfect tense.
The form,
The
affirmative, negative, and question.
This is in the book.
Yes.
Yes.
So what we showed before,
General idea.
it is another idea from our own. Now this is what students have in the book. It's not different. So we are going to repeat them so that we make it clearer and to be fossilized in their brains. And I want to say something, allow me to say it. Grammar does not teach the language.
Of course not.
You need to learn the language as it is. Then grammar comes to adjust it. Grammar adjusts the language. It's not important to learn the language, it's important to adjust it. But it is important for exams. Don't say, if you don't know about grammar, that you don't know the language. The most important thing is to learn the language. You can solve any grammar exercise if you know the language, even if you do not know about the grammar about it. Yes, Miss Maha?
Yes. First, the form. When it's affirmative, we use the subject plus have or has and the past participle of the verb. I have tried sushi. Here we use have because the subject is I. If we have he, we can't use have, we use has. When it's negative, we use the subject with have not, and in its short form it's haven't or has not, hasn't, plus past participle.
Thank you
I-
for saying them haven't and hasn't.
Thank you.
Because we have a pronunciation mistake in the
Hasn't.
domain, in the
Yes.
field, they say haven't or hasn't, which is not correct. Haven't or hasn't, thank you.
Yes, I haven't tried sushi. And when it's a question, we have to pay attention that we have to invert between the subject and the auxiliary, which is
Yeah,
have
we
or has.
invert the subject and the verb
Yes.
to make it a question.
So we start with have or has, the subject and the past participle. Have you tried sushi?
So when we explained about 4 uses at the beginning, when we were talking about the student's book, it was to make it clearer. For grade 9, students need to know only this. The use, here we have 2 points. Miss Ula?
Yes, the first one is that when we talk about action that happened at an indefinite time in the past,
Time is not known.
not known, not mentioned in the sentence. She has already seen this film. When? We have no idea.
And already is a hint,
Yes, of course.
keyword, to know that it is present perfect. Yes.
They have won several awards. Again, several can be a hint. And it's in the past and in indefinite.
This is what we called repeated action, because
Exact.
he won an award or she won an award after a period of time, one another, then one another. When we talk about this one winning of awards in one time, we use the present perfect.
Okay.
Like when we said we have had 4 tests. Here
Several.
they have won several awards, and usually they may have a hint like so far or until now.
And the second one is when we use since and for something that started in the past and continued to the present. Like I have been in this city since last year. Last year is a fixed time in the past, so we use since. Mr. Smith has been a teacher for 9 years. 9 years is a period of time, duration, so we use for.
Here both examples about being We can have extra examples like I have driven my car for 3 years. I have waited for
a
you
long time.
for a long time. So it's not only be, we can use any
Of
tense,
course.
but the meaning is the same. Started in the past,
And
continued till the present,
and may continue to the
and may
future.
continue in the future. That's why we made it clearer at the
At
beginning of this session.
Okay,
We continue.
we use it to talk about an action finished in the past, but the resulting state is still present. So we have a result in the present.
This is normal. If we don't have a result in the
Simple
present,
past.
it's not present perfect at all. If we are talking about someone dead, we cannot
course,
use the
Of
present
course,
perfect.
it's finished.
There should be a connection with the present. Yeah.
Like I have lost my pen, I am unable to do my exercise. So the result is that I can't do my exercise now.
Yes.
With yet, to talk about events that have not happened before now, like they haven't discovered a cure for the common cold yet.
Miss Maha,
Yes.
select the correct answer to complete each sentence using the present perfect tense.
Yes. Number one, she's very experienced now. The result is now. She has or hasn't been a volunteer for 2 years. It depends on the meaning and the grammar too. So she has been. Number two, good news. They have raised or haven't raised enough money for the charity this year. They have raised. It's good news. Number three, while I've been a volunteer, we haven't or have helped a lot of people to graduate from high school. We have. Number four, he's hungry. He hasn't eaten for 4 days. Number five, she misses him. She haven't or hasn't seen him for a long time. She hasn't, not haven't.
We did the same exercise.
Yes.
Just to make it clearer. Here, how can the student know the answer? From the context,
Of course.
from the meaning. Because she's very experienced, it means she has been a volunteer for 2 years, not she hasn't. If she hasn't, she wouldn't be a volunteer.
Yes.
Because she has been a volunteer for, she has an experience. This is why we chose she has. And when we say good news, again, good news means they have raised. Because if it is they haven't raised money, it's not good news. Especially with money.
Yes,
When we
of course.
don't raise money, it's
Bad
never
news. It's always bad
it's
news.
always bad news. And while I have been a volunteer, we haven't or have helped. Of course,
have helped.
they
Have
have
helped.
done something, so it should be have. When we say he's hungry,
He hasn't
it's
eaten.
clear that he hasn't eaten. Unless he is a greedy person. We're not dealing with greedy people
course,
here.
normal person.
We're talking about normal people. When someone is hungry, he hasn't or she
eaten.
hasn't eaten for 4 days. But can it be possible for someone not to eat for 4 days?
No. And not only hungry, he should be starving.
So we have a
Yes.
problem with this sentence. We can say for 4 hours maybe,
4 hours is
4 days,
logical.
even maybe heroes. Maybe cats can live,
Maybe.
maybe. And since we can say he for cats or dogs, we consider
They
this
use
is-
it.
Or it may be a camel.
Camel.
Yes.
Yeah, camels maybe. But for people,
But
I
camel
don't think.
cannot be addressed as he.
This reminds me with a joke that someone fell from a skyscraper. His friend was telling him, he said, it took him 3 days to reach the ground. The other person said, did he die? Said he remained for 3 days without food. Of course he will die.
died.
So,
So he must
number
be dead
5.
now. She misses him.
Mhm.
She hasn't seen him for a long time.
Of course, if you see someone every time, you will not miss. Since she misses him, she hasn't seen him
For a while.
for a while. We continue.
Now we have to put the verse between brackets in the correct form using the present perfect tense.
Yes.
I'm not hungry, so I have already eaten.
Mhm.
We haven't planned for our holiday yet. Yet with negative. Have you read any interesting books? Again, any with the question. Have you read? She hasn't fed the cat yet. Negative. Has Amr bought a car yet? And they
Actually,
can practice.
did we mention,
Yes, we
with
mentioned
the first
hasn't.
part that we use yet with negatives
Negative.
and with questions.
So both questions are correct.
Yeah. we move to the following slide
About making questions.
about put the verbs between brackets in
We
the
have
correct
just
form.
done that.
We have done it.
Yes.
So we are going to move to
Making
making questions. Making questions is something very important
Yes.
because in the exam paper you will have a question saying write questions about the underlined words.
This is the difference this year.
Now, yeah, we are going to help them do this. I'm going to say something quickly and then you are going to explain in details. As we mentioned, we have yes-no question. How to make the yes-no question. Then we take away the underlined word, and at the beginning we use a question word that asks about the thing we took away. If it is a place, we use where. If it is time, we use when. People, who, and so on. And here we have the question words on the screen: what, who, how, when, where, and why. Whose turn?
Yes.
Miss Maha.
So we start with the question word. We have what, where, who, when, how. We can see how many, how much, how far, how long, how often. And then we use the auxiliary verb. Of course, we have many different auxiliaries. We have be, am, is, are.
So these words are not all.
No.
We have
Of course
more
not. These
than
are just
Yes.
examples.
These are, yes.
especially how it has many things
Yes,
and
and when
what
making a-
has many things to
Yes.
complete.
And when making a question, we have to pay attention to the tense of the verb so that we use the right auxiliary. When it's present, and if we have an auxiliary in the verb, in the sentence, sorry, we use it. When we don't have an auxiliary, we have to write one. When the auxiliary...
The two cases when we do not have is the present simple
Yes,
and the
and
past simple.
yes.
All the rest of tenses, they have an auxiliary,
Auxiliary.
so we need to use it. It's wrong to use do, does, or did when there is an auxiliary in the sentence.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much.
After the auxiliary, we use the subject. The subject can be a pronoun like I, we, you, they, he, she, it, or it can be a noun, the teacher, my friend, Samir, Nada, and then we write the rest of the sentence.
Yes. Now, let's explain
With
slowly
examples.
to the students. It's very important to make the students aware of how to make questions. It's not difficult, but maybe the way they learned it in the past was a problem. It's very easy to make a question. If they know the language, they will make the question without thinking about grammar. But if they do not know the language, they need to follow some steps. First, they need to know how to change, as we mentioned, the yes-no question. Then they need to know which WH word is suitable to the thing we are going to delete to ask about it. Miss Ola,
Yes. Let's have the first sentence. She is working on a new project. We can ask it in two different ways. If we are asking about if it is the underlined word is a new project, we can use what. We have verb to be is, so what is she? What is she working on? What is she working on? And here the answer is a new project.
yes.
If we want to ask about her working, about what she's doing, we can use what is she doing? And
Actually, we can use what is she doing, what is he doing for all things
Yes.
someone is doing.
Yes.
So as you said, we can use both ways are correct.
are correct, absolutely.
What is she doing can be for watching television, writing homework, doing anything. If you want to be specific, say what is she working on? The answer is
Yes.
she's working on a
And
new
this is
project.
going to be easier when they are going to have the underlined words. So in this case, what is she doing? They're going to have working on a new project underlined. All of it. Number two, she has returned from Europe. Let's say that we have Europe underlined.
Yes,
So where?
it should be where.
Where?
Where has he
Where has he
returned
returned from?
from? And from is obligatory. You
Obligatory,
cannot
of course.
delete
Returned from. We cannot say return. Yes.
Susan enjoys reading.
Now, reading is underlined. So,
And here we don't have an auxiliary
so we must have an auxiliary. Do, does, did.
according to the tense. What is the tense?
Present simple.
Present
Because
simple.
enjoys.
So we
they
use
can see the S. So enjoys, so it is does. What does she or Susan enjoy doing? What does she enjoy doing? She enjoys reading. Now, who does this car belong to?
Because again, it is simple present.
Simple present. If we say
simple.
Martin is underlined.
Now we can show the answers to the students. What is she doing, or what is she working on? The answer is she's working on a new project. Where has he returned? So on. Let's move to the following and important part, which is writing.
Writing. This is essential,
it's
and
not
this
a
is
secret.
different.
It's, sorry to interrupt you.
No, the same idea.
It's not a secret that most of the students in our country, most, not all, some are very good students, they can write a composition, but they buy a ready written composition, learn it by heart. The result is they cannot write. They get high marks. We solved this problem for the coming year. The composition is going to be parallel to the composition in the book, so that good teachers will not be able to write ready written compositions.
We need to teach them.
And they need to teach the students how to write a composition. Our advice to the teachers before the students, please, please, we beg you, teach the students how to write sentences, because when the students are able to write sentences, they can connect them with connectors like then, after that, so, and they can write a paragraph in any tense, not only the ready written composition. Miss Maha?
Yes, here we have an example. Ahmad is your neighbor. He has a problem with his legs, so he can't walk. You always see him watching you sadly playing with your friends. Think of an idea to help him and write the steps you will follow to solve his problem. This type
so
of...
this is the topic.
Yes.
Students are going to write about this topic. In the exam, they are going to have elements.
Yes.
So write about when did you meet, who is your friend, what did you do. I'm just giving examples so that students need to write about the elements. It's not open. They have elements. We need to know if they can write or not. If they learned something ready written, it will not suit the composition in the exam. So what is the way to solve this problem? To learn how to write sentences from now till exam
They
time.
have time. They have plenty of time.
Yeah, they have plenty of time now. Here we have a form, Miss Ola.
About the process paragraph, it's about the same. When we want to write about the initiative or the voluntary work they were talking about with their neighbor, they can just divide it into steps. What are they going to do first, next, after that?
Here we have 7 steps, not necessarily to be 7 steps.
They don't have to be 7.
It could be 7, could be 6, could be 4. But we need to tell the students that we have topic sentence. At the beginning, the students need to write a sentence about the topic. We call it topic sentence.
Supportive
and we
ideas
usually
or
indent when we write a paragraph. I mean by indent,
leave a space.
we leave a space of a word at the first line. Then we go from the margin with the others. So we need to leave. It's not wrong if you didn't leave a space, but it is better to show us that you know how to write, to indent, to leave a space of a word, then write a topic sentence, full stop, then write about the elements. Maybe the elements are 3, 4, 5. You need to write step number 1 for element number 1, step number 2 for element, and finally we have a conclusion. The conclusion is going to be similar
to the introduction. Or summarizes the paragraph.
Yes. Ms. Ola,
yes.
Give the students your advice about how to write a paragraph.
Okay, first of all, they need to have an introduction. They need to introduce us to the idea they're going to write about. We have supportive ideas, at least like you have just mentioned, at least 2, 3 ideas, and then a conclusion. The conclusion is restating the introduction, summarizing the text, the paragraph, or giving your opinion. So here we have 3 elements and we have a paragraph. They have to stick to the number of words, no less than 50 words. They have to pay attention to that and keep it clean and organized.
What if they wrote more than 50 words?
It's okay, no
It's
less,
okay,
no
but
less
the problem,
than 50.
The problem is they may have mistakes.
Yes, of course.
So they are going to lose marks about the spelling mistakes.
Stick to the
or
number,
grammar
stick to the
mistakes
number.
if they have any, if they added. So it's better to heed to the number of words, 50. It's a good idea to count them.
Yes, why not?
Yes.
Why not? So 50 words is the good number to stick to, and use punctuation. Pay attention to the spelling, and that's it. It's going to be easy. Just a few sentences connected.
Miss Maha?
Yes, when writing a paragraph, think of words that are related to the topic. Write them on your draft, put them in sentences, then reorder the sentences and check your spelling. The most important thing is that you know the words, you know the vocabulary related to the topic. So don't feel afraid that I don't know, just you can check your books.
Yes,
You
use
can
the vocabulary
see
from the book.
dictionaries. So choose the correct words, choose the words that are related, put them in sentences, reorder the sentences, and check, a final check, then write it on your notebook or on your
So we
workbook.
advise the students, if you do not know a word, a suitable one word for something, you can replace it with a sentence.
Yes.
For example, a word about culture. If you do not know the meaning or how to write the word culture, you can write a sentence explaining the meaning of the word culture. It will help you, and it will add a number to
Of
the
words,
words
of course.
you have written in your composition. Writing is very important. Listening is very important. Speaking is very important. Reading is very important. If you want to master the language, you need to master the
Four
four
skills.
skills. We are going to give advices at the end of the session. For listening, just do not wait to listen in the classroom. I advise the students to listen to songs, listen to stories, go on
Shows.
YouTube, surf the net, listen, and it is a good idea if you find something with the writing, with the lyrics, if it is a song, with the lyrics,
In English, of course.
so that the first time you listen to something, maybe if you are not a native speaker, you will not be able to understand from the first time. So the more you listen, the more you are able to understand. The second step is to repeat, to shadow with the person speaking, with the thing you are listening to. Shadowing improves your pronunciation and trains your tongue to say the words correctly and precisely. Reading, of course, we have something in the field that a lot of teachers say we need to make students read aloud so that they improve their reading. No, we do not have reading aloud. So how can students improve their reading? They can read the question, they can read
Answer.
the answer, but not reading the text aloud. It's reading for comprehension. We do not have a task called reading aloud. It's reading for comprehension. Then the teacher can ask a student to read the question, another student to read the answer, so they read aloud questions and answers, but not the text. The text is to be read for comprehension.
It doesn't help any skill. It doesn't improve anything.
Yes.
Reading aloud.
We come to writing, as we said. I'm sorry, I'm talking alone at the end. I apologize.
That's okay.
Just I wanted to summarize the
Please,
session.
yes.
We talked about writing. The only way to write a paragraph is to write a sentence. If you can write a sentence, you can write a paragraph. At the end of this session, allow me to thank my colleagues in the studio, Ms. Maha Al-Jarkas.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, English
Thank you.
Language Teacher, Damascus Directorate. Ms. Ula Al-Mu'i, English Language Supervisor,
Thank you, sir.
Tartus Directorate. Thank you so much, and we wish you good luck. It is Abdelmajid Ogherli, Senior Supervisor and Coordinator of English Curriculum. Thank you so much for being with us. Good luck.